Already Canada.
Not all of it. Really got UPS. I got half their fleet already, and I think I'll probably let it be done. I think it's 20%. And the next deal, another one I correct.
Bison. I use Bison over the years.
They're nice guys, actually, real nice. They pay, but they're nice. And Walmart, not bad. World.
Now we're for J.P. Home, Schneider as well.
All right, Bob, I am ready when you are.
Thank you, Adam. So we would like to start the October 2nd zoning board of appeals meeting. We always start with the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will do a roll call. Robert Peckham, present. Beth Mossworth. John Miglerini. Here. Christian Chamberlain.
Here.
Heather Robinson.
Here.
Timothy Harrington.
Present.
Aaron Lehman.
Present.
Great. Could I get a motion for last month's minutes?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, with regards to the September 4th, 2024 meeting minutes, I move to approve.
Second.
Ooh, Christian gets
First to
it.
get it, he first.
There's a fight for it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. We'll start off this meeting. I give basic information. If there's any incidents that happen, we need emergency to get out. There's exits across the atrium and on either side of the boardroom. We have never had that problem, so I don't worry about it too much, but if it does, that's how you get out. I have decided we're gonna do one set of applications out of order due to basically the size of it. So we will start out with 2024-079, which is Abdul Mohammed at the address is 3265 East River Road. Please come up to the podium, state your name and address clearly for the record into the microphone.
Thanks. This is on.
It's on.
Hello.
I am Abdul Muhammad, owner of the house of 3265 East River Road. I request front setback variance reduced 53 inch and 60 inch from 60 feet for the construction of the small open porch. The porch will be over and the town front door. Two front door to provide protection from rain, snow, ice, and I propose the setback is far greater than that for the facing house. To the north, and also greater than the convenience store to the south. It is also opening that the porch added structure to the house and is architectural planning.
So basically the building, was it built 1 foot too close to the road? Is that what ended up happening? Or is it, was the house when it was built just a little too close to the road? So the porch required the setback to be less than what is normal.
Well, the house has been built 60 feet from the road, from the setback of the road. Most of the house, as I'm living the next door, is a 25 feet setback from the house. The new one, when I built it, it's 60 feet setback from the, from the road. And the porch only take around small portion of the land
He is asking for 1 foot, correct?
Just one
Mhm.
foot, yes. Is it,
Is this a duplex?
No,
Two houses, just one house?
there's one house.
it's one house, right? So it's just one, it's just 1 foot relief is all that he's asking for. So it's not substantial.
Do you have any other questions, Christian?
I have no other questions, no. I mean, it looks, I live right around the corner from you, so
Oh,
it's,
thank you.
I see it all the time, so it looks nice, so it's,
Yeah.
but yeah, I have no other questions.
Any other board members?
No further questions.
Oh, well, this is easy. With that, I'd like to ask if there's any questions from members of the audience?
No,
It's okay.
Other members of the audience, hold on. Heather, is there anybody online that you see?
I have one person, but their hands aren't raised.
Okay, so with that, we can close this application.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, with regard to application number ZBA 2024-079 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has 1 duly advertised and held a public hearing, 2 has considered all relevant information, and 3 has considered the potential benefit of the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variances. Now therefore be resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The applicant says the porch will be aesthetically pleasing. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative. The variance is necessary in order for the applicant to have the size of porch that they want. The variance requested is not substantial. The variance requested is a minor, 1 foot, which is a 3% of the total setback required by code. The variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. The proposed porch is behind the front setback of the adjacent house. And the difficulty relating to the variance was self-created due to the applicant's desire to have a porch to protect themselves from outside elements. The difficulty resulted from an oversight in the original layout of the house, which has already been built. And be further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approves the variance as presented.
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Harrington. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries.
thanks.
Thank you, sir. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Next, we will have application 2024-092, which is from 942 Jefferson Road. Anybody here?
He's supposed to be on Zoom. I think he's the person I have as an attendee. He's not, he's got his hand raised. Hold on. Is this Dave Vaughn? Unmute yourself. Dave? I'm allowing you to talk. You have to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
thank
Oh,
you.
thanks. Yeah, this is Dave Mon from Visible Graphics. We're here to represent our client who is the franchisee for the Dave's Hot Chicken that's going in Rochester.
Great.
So it's nothing but irony that your name is Dave?
I know I've never written this, and this is the fastest growing concept in the country. And I was telling somebody from my office, I don't think I've ever written my name more times in the last year and a half as I have since I've been doing Dave's Hot Chicken. But yeah, they're very excited about coming into Rochester. And what we're looking to do, they're going into the old Boston market space.
Yep.
And we're just looking to get an additional logo around the corner that's visible from the people in the drive-through aisle.
Will you be doing the neon all the way around the building or just over the front?
No, I believe just the front for that lighting.
Because you're showing it on the side also, and I was just confused on
Hang
that.
on 1 second. Let me open up that drawing.
55 feet of it on the side. It's LED.
Oh yeah, it's the front and the side that they're planning on doing. I don't believe that they're going to be doing any on the rear, but I'm not really positive on that. I was only prepared to discuss the additional logo.
Okay.
This is pretty straightforward in my opinion. Does anybody have any other questions? No?
Further questions?
Any other members of the audience have questions about Dave's Hot Chicken
Looks like we have
signage?
one.
Mike does.
Just the size of it, I don't, do I see it on here?
The one,
It's not
I
an
see the
agenda.
sign that says Dave's Hot Chicken is 25 feet and 1/4 inch. And the circular sign is 6 foot by 6 foot.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem. But I don't know the total square footage. I didn't pay attention to that. Were you asking for the total square footage, Mike? I didn't calculate that.
I have the square footage for that logo. It is
So what's-
28.27 square feet.
Okay. You good with that, Mike? Okay, with that, we can close this application.
Mr. Chairman, with regards to application ZBA 2024-092 for an area variance, I move to approve. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held public hearings, has considered all relevant information, and has considered the potential benefits to the application versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the characteristic of the neighborhood. This is a commercial area and there are other buildings around there with the same. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative. The sign is needed on the sign of the building. The variance requested is not substantial. The variance will not have a negative effect on the physical or environmental conditions. The difficulty related to the variance was self-created, but the signage is needed on the side of the building for advertising. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approves the variance as presented.
I'll second.
That's seconded by Heather. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Thank you very much, Dave.
Thanks very much. Thanks for your time.
No problem. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Next, we're gonna have a bunch of these. It's 2024-093 all the way through 2024-097 for Bob Johnson Auto Group. 3855 West Henrietta Road. We need one of you at least. Okay. I thought you were debating.
No, not a debate, I'm sorry.
State clearly your name and address into the microphone for the record, please.
Ralph Alaco for Bob Johnson.
Welcome, Ralph.
Joseph Valaco, Bob Johnson.
Welcome, Joseph. Tell us about what you're doing.
So first, I want to start out by apologizing for the item number one that's listed here is a Maserati sign on the side of the building. I wanted to apologize. That sign is already on the building, and that was an oversight on our end, and we apologize for that. This was the first time that we had used our new sign company, Premier Sign, at the location. We were under the impression they were going to get approval and the permit for that. They were under the impression we should have double checked it, and I want to apologize for
Thank
that
you.
right away.
That's okay.
Appreciate it.
So are you referring to sign number one, which is Maserati?
I am.
Okay, just making sure.
Yep.
Because I know there's multiple logos.
And I can go one by one here, and I will. I'll do sign one first. It is a sign that just says Maserati. As you could see in the application, it's approximately 71 square feet. At the time right now, it is not illuminated. It does have the capabilities to be illuminated. We decided not to put the illumination in or energize it yet before getting approval from the board. So that's basically sign number one. It's located on the side of the building, not the front of the building. And I can go through sign two.
Please do.
Okay, so sign two is on the right next to where Maserati is. It says Alfa Romeo. It's another car manufacturer. Square footage on that is approximately 48 feet.
Yes.
Also illumination capabilities. That sign is not up on the building yet. And it goes right next to Maserati on that same side of the building. Sign number three is a very small logo.
Wait, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Alfa Romeo sign, how large is that?
On the paperwork, it says 45 square feet.
Okay, you're right, it does. I didn't see that. Thank you.
It's okay.
Sorry for that. Go ahead,
No-
guys.
No problem.
Sit there and calculate all these.
This is a smaller corner of the building. For sign 3, it's just the Maserati logo. Something that the manufacturer provides that we have to put on the building. That's what their request is. It's a very small sign. It's only 12 square feet total. And for application 4, same thing with Alfa Romeo, logo of Alfa Romeo, only 16 square feet. And that goes on that same side of that portion of the building right next to the Maserati logo. And then sign 5 or application 5 is, this is on the front portion of the building. Again, these are also very small. Same logo, Maserati logo and the Alfa Romeo logo. On this, it's switched to be Alfa Romeo on the left-hand side, Maserati on the right-hand side here. And these are approximately 10 square feet apiece. They're very small signs.
You had Maserati and Alfa Romeo a building or two over before, correct?
Yes, that is correct. And that,
Oh, okay.
that building is being, going to be used for used cars. So that was the whole purpose of switching the signage
Okay.
and moving the cars. The Maserati and Alfa Romeo will now be in the same building as Infinity.
It'll be all three.
That's correct.
Now you mentioned that sign 1 can be illuminated, sign 2 can be illuminated. Is sign 3, 4, and 5, are those illuminated as well?
They are not.
Okay, just the 2.
Oh, 3 and 4 can be. Okay, 3 and 4 can be, but 5 on the front of the building is.
Yeah, okay. That I didn't.
So obviously, as the board can see, in total, all of these signs put together are still not equivalent to the 250 square feet of sign allowed on wall, on wall signs on buildings of this nature. It's approximately 175 square feet for all of the signage altogether.
Okay.
Great. Any other questions from our board?
No.
I think this is very fitting for the neighborhood, if you will. Very in line with every other building on the road. Any questions from audience members? I don't see any online, Heather, but we good?
No, just applicants.
Okay. With that, we can close these applications.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, with regard to application number ZBA 2024-93 to 97 for area variances, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing, has considered all relevant information and has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variances. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variances will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties. Other car dealerships along West Henrietta Road have multiple wall signs to advertise the car brands at their property. The variances cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative. The business needs the additional wall signage to make it easy to find for potential and current clients. The variances requested is not substantial. The size of the signs are minimal, but achieves the outcome the applicant needs for advertising the multiple car brands. The variances will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. The difficulty relating to the variances was self-created as the applicant needs the additional signage for the car brands added to the dealership. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variances as presented.
Second.
Seconded by John. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? So the motion's carried.
Thank you.
gentlemen. Good luck out there. I'm gonna make the slight change in the order right now. We're gonna go to 2024's 131 to 138, which is 4011 West Henrietta Road.
Good afternoon. My name is Reza Armanesh. I live at 333 Glen Haven Road, Rochester, New York. I'm basically presenting this project to the board. Based on what we discussed with the staff, there are two permissible signs. One is the building sign, one is the pole signs. The
Yeah.
pole sign has three segments, way on top, and then the one in the middle, and then the one small one at the bottom. The building sign is just one sign that's attached to the gable entry at the front. What we are asking for, basically, the total permissible area is 98.3 square feet. The additional sign that we are requesting the board to consider is 72 square feet, still below 250 square feet that is permitted. It's about 169.1 square foot. The additional signs that we are requesting a variance for is basically 4 signs on the canopy, one on each side as shown on the pictures. And it's 8 feet by 2 feet. And it's basically, it's like a sticky back that is attached to the face. The same with the pump. The pumps is a smaller one, like about 2 foot wide and about 1 foot height. And then the same thing, it's the sticky back, so it's stuck to it's sticking to the bottom of the pump. And based on what I was discussing with Mr. Khan, this is a local company trying to be competitive with the larger one. And according to what Mr. Khan stated, that a lot of these gas stations, they have the signs on the canopy to distinguish themselves from the next one. So we are hoping that this would get approved so he can be competitive with the other companies that are not even local.
Now, I will ask, and I think I know the answer already. This is already done, right?
Yes, the owner was not aware that it couldn't, because this is his first gas station in Henrietta. He has 6, 7 other gas stations in the city. There are
And
other places.
They don't have zoning needs like we do.
Well, they do have it, but they usually, they don't permit as many signs as they permitted in Henrietta.
The sign was wherever we.
I'm sorry, before you speak, can you give your name and address for the record?
Ahmed Khan, a resident at 27 Great Thornhill, Pittsburgh, New York. I'm the owner of the property.
Okay, thank you.
The reason, because there was sign already on the canopy when we installed it. There was already image and it was it was already on for 7 years. And I was unaware that we need to get a permit if his sign is already existing.
Okay.
There was sign on the building and there was sign already on the canopy and the pole. The only thing I did is to put the sign on the dispensers on the bottom. Normally they are, already come sign like Sunoco, Mobile or whatever, but the one I already had on the premises didn't have the sign. So that's the extra I add on. But I wasn't aware that we need a signage if it was existing sign already.
Understood.
That
Thank
was
you.
my mistake. I'm sorry for that.
Any questions from the board members?
No.
No? Any questions from audience members? This is straightforward. Whenever you are ready.
Mr. Chairman, in regards to application ZBA 2024-131 and 138 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has 1, duly advertised and held a public hearing, 2, has considered all relevant information, and 3, has considered the potential benefit of the applicant versus potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variances. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties. There are other gas stations with similar signage near and close by. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative. This is the best way to brand and set up signage of the facility. The variance requested is not substantial. Total square footage is well under allowable limit. The variance will not have a negative effect on the physical or environmental conditions. Signage does not have these effects. Difficulty related to the variance was self-created, and be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented.
I'll second.
Seconded by Christian. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck there.
Thank you.
I've heard, by the way, I've heard a lot of good things about it, actually.
Thank you.
Now our last applications for U of R, it's 2024-098 through 130. And I'll have you come up and state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is James Ritzenthaler with Passero Associates, 242 West Main Street, Rochester, New York, 14614.
Thank you, James.
And Van Yanis, University of Rochester, 1026 Lilla Lane, Webster, New York, 14580.
Please say your first name again. I couldn't hear it.
Van.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say this here more for this one than the others, with Passero here. I don't know if you heard me earlier. I'm pretty aggravated with the way this is coming to us. I don't think it's right for a organization to come in that knows better.
Yep.
Like, you know, someone,
So I don't mean to interrupt you, but
Go ahead.
So Passero has only been on this project for the last couple months, only for this variance situation. We absolutely do know better. I promise you that.
good.
The past history of this project, and you can go into more detail of it, but
Please.
yeah.
And we do apologize for this. So
Can you come to the
back when we were
microphone?
negotiating for the purchase of the mall and moving forward with our development plan, Walmart had brought in BME. So Peter Vars was really the main face of what I'll call the project, right? It's just
Yes.
identifying both interests of the university and Walmart. We did bring in Bergman, who was our site civil design firm. We brought in the architects to go through the plans.
Yes.
It was overlooked in full transparency. We did have the sign locations, identified in the site plans, but we never actually kind of put it on our agenda to come back and get any sign variances that were required. As far as Passero, the university uses Passero for all regulatory approvals. A lot of work at the city of Rochester, as you can imagine, with our main campus being there. That's why when this came to our attention, we called Passero right away to say, hey, we need some help. They're like, which project? We're like, no, not the city of Rochester, it's the town of Henrietta, just to help us out with paperwork and make sure it gets filed appropriately. So it wasn't without any ill intent, and Passero really was just kind of there to support us.
Fixing it.
Yeah.
Obviously we want U of R in Henrietta. There's no doubt about that. This project, we're gonna go through the formalities here and make sure we all agree on what we see. Man, it'll be a pain in the neck if we don't all agree, won't it? I hope that doesn't come to that.
But, and I do want to apologize and again, just kind of stick up the Passero a little bit. So we probably should have brought them in 3 years ago.
That's true.
Would have been done.
That's
So,
absolutely true. That should have been the case. So my recommendation moving forward is bring them in early. And you're welcome. I don't take commissions right there. I'm just saying, bring them in early.
Yeah, if you
Please do.
Yeah, so we're here for, we submitted 36 total variances. You have 32 on your agenda here. Just want to make sure that, clarify that because we have 36 on our LOI in the original submission. The sign A size, which is the large sign on the building, that is included in the conglomerate total size. I heard you talking in the workshop, looking for the size of that. The size per our cut sheet is 289.5 square feet. That's a conglomerate of the actual U of R logo and then the naming below it. Also cut from the agenda was the area variances or the size variances for signs C3, 4, and 5. Those are also included in the conglomerate agenda items, which are agenda items. Sorry, pages are sticking together. 129 and 130. Those are all included in those conglomerate area variances, just to clear that up.
Your documentation on page 67, which is a giant PDF that we have. Your documentation says that you applied 38 variances.
Oh,
6 separate sign types that require variances for a total of 38 applications.
Oh, I think also, I'm wondering if it's the side variances
The size
for the,
variances,
like the setback.
meaning that, oh, but he said 32 including those, that's why.
Oh, okay.
So on your agenda, you have 32. So I think some of those, when we submitted them to the town, some of those were put into the
Consolidated.
conglomerate. Yes, consolidated. So, just wanted to, excuse me, make sure of that. So, yeah, we're looking at tonight, the existing signs that are on the site. Due to oversight, we apologize for that. And we are here in good faith trying to rectify that issue. It was brought up in, I believe, a site walk with the town, that, the variances were never actually, approved or submitted for these signs. So coming here, we're looking at majority of, the variances are, the number of signs. Obviously, like Mr. Harrington mentioned, it is a large site. There's a lot going on the site. We provided these signs per U of R design guidelines that are designed to help people move through. There's been a lot of thought put into these. As mentioned previously, as I heard in the workshop, our goal is to help people navigate this site where there is a lot going on, and hopefully, from the sound of it, it is working out well that way. I don't know if anybody else has had any experience on the site, but I do believe that it helps people navigate fairly well. It is very clearly designated throughout the site. Some of the other variances that we're looking at for a lot of the wayfinding signs, especially on the outside of the property, sorry, are some of the setbacks. Some of those setbacks are just due to the kind of unique nature of the site. It being the old mall, if you look at the site plans, the property lines are right there on the outer loop. It's kind of an odd setup there, but if you also look at the site plans, there's no better place to put those wayfinding signs. Where you want them is right there. And it's not, like we're 2 feet off a main road, we're off the loop of the mall. We're a ways away from Highland and all that. So, so it is just kind of pointing out that some of those are slightly odd case. But yeah, so, I don't have too much more to say short of just going line by line through the different, variances, which I'm assuming you guys don't want me to do, but I just wanted to open it up to you guys if you do have any other questions.
Aaron, I think I'd like you to lead how we're asking questions on this. If you have a series of questions, let's follow your lead.
I have just a big picture question. So the first one I'd like to ask, and it's going to be in relation to the signs, is the facility for URMC going to be open 24/7, or is it open during a specific hour operation?
There's specific hours for operation, depends on part of the building. We do have the ability to do have 23-hour patients or 23-hour stays in the surgical center. So if somebody were coming for a full knee replacement or hip, right, full joint replacement, they could potentially stay there up to 23 hours.
Okay. And I ask because the next question I'm going to ask is the wayfinding, I guess, pylon signs or ground signs that are around the site. Are those intended to be lit? Okay.
So and I was going to clarify that the only illuminated signs are the ones on the building.
Okay.
So we gave a lot of thought because we designed for LEED certification.
Yep.
Which we're still aggressively looking at. We just haven't submitted yet because we are going for LEED silver. And we're just trying to make sure we have all the points now that we've been in the facility and operating. So we were very careful on light pollution and keeping that to a minimum.
Okay. And the reason I asked is because to the southwest of the site, there's a very large new residential building.
Yes.
And the lighting, but I don't think that is going to be a factor since the wayfinding signs are not lit and most of the wall signs are not facing that building.
Yep.
And if I can clarify too, the potential for 23-hour patients, those patients would come in during normal business hours. They have a procedure, but then they just may stay overnight. So we don't actually have patients coming off
Mhm.
hours in the evening or when start.
My next big quick picture question is, because of the scale of the project, is there any foreseen need for additional signage based on, oh, we discovered this is happening and we need to shift that or correct it?
We did actually try to plan for that when we identified the signs.
Mhm.
So as you can see, the senior apartments actually went in,
Mhm.
started work after we had already started construction.
Mhm.
There wasn't any issue with
Okay.
wayfinding of our signage. We did not have to make any modification to that.
Mhm.
And then, we also left a little bit of space in the future if we ever
Mhm.
expanded that property.
Yeah. Can I jump in here?
Yeah.
So you had mentioned already that your MC is looking to purchase the rest of the mall. Is that considered a separate property?
I did not mention that.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard that.
They
No,
purchased
I did not.
a part of the mall.
Oh,
We-
part
yeah,
of the mall.
We
Okay.
purchased, it was just under 20 acres of property.
Okay.
It was about 1.6, 1 acres of building, and about 14-ish acres of land, parking area.
Okay. All right. All right. I just wanted to make sure we weren't looking at the whole picture. Okay. Thank you.
into buying the
Yeah, right.
As I mentioned, there's a lot of entrances, being a mall, there's a lot of entrances and egresses into that. And then, having
Okay.
our campus and this being a destination, patients really are coming from everywhere in this facility. Good.
Thank you for the clarity.
And I have one more big picture question. It's related to I believe it's sign A, which is the big U of R with the logo and then the donor below it. I understand the importance of recognizing your donors because that's how you get your money for these massive projects. Is the intention to have one donor name there?
Ideally, you would, we don't actually have a donor for that, so that was put in there as a placeholder, so we can make sure we have the right infrastructure in the building to support a sign there in the future, if somebody were to name the building.
Do you anticipate having more than one donor?
We have lots of donors throughout the building,
I
depending on the
know, but
level of
like
gift.
big donors, I should say.
Yeah.
At the moment, I don't think they have anybody.
Okay.
But again, that didn't stop us from developing and providing the service to the community.
Because and Bob or Kevin can maybe correct me, because as the application stands, we could at most approve one name. 'Cause what's
That's
shown on
that's
the
why I asked the
application.
question.
So,
Actually.
Yeah, typically it's not more than one name.
yeah,
Okay.
But it would be just
right.
what's shown there.
The additional thing, if they get another donor, that
Right,
makes it
they would have to
worthwhile,
come
they'll come
back.
back in and ask for
Yeah.
more if we approve that. or
And
not.
that's what I just want to make clear. So if you did get two, you'd have to come back and get a second variance.
Beforehand, we should be. Yes.
And actually, I'll also clarify about the illuminated signs. There's the ones on the building. There's also that one main pylon that says Marketplace sign at the corner of Jefferson and Highland.
Mhm.
That was on our plan as well. We looked at branding that with some sort of UR campus or Marketplace campus. That has not proceeded yet.
Okay.
That used to be a lighted sign and everything else. and then
Yeah.
they
I think it still
changed it to
is.
Just a plain old.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
That-
what's, it's not in front of us today. What's that?
Logos.
That's right. No, there's a little path. Okay, so any other questions from the board members? And I have a couple comments, but do you have any other questions? Obviously, we want you guys here. There's no doubt about it. No missed words. I do appreciate that you identified for us how this came about with the out of order process that we're doing. So that doesn't affect our decisions either way. And the good news is I think we're all in agreement that the signage is appropriate for what's there. So that's good news. So we don't have to have you rip something out. I wouldn't want to, but I'm glad we don't have to. I do think though, Aaron, for the last sign where we do not have a donor currently, although sign A, did we decide what that is for us as far as what application that is, or it's not even an application?
Well, I think it's and this
It's
is
a square
technical
footage question.
But to me, that size would be included in one of the two sides.
So we have a square footage question.
Yeah.
So the point is we can either approve this no, the comment is, and maybe Eric should dig in here. We can approve or we can decline it, but we can approve the application with regards to the square footage,
That's, yeah.
but we may want to say we reduce it by, I'm taking a guess at what that size is, 10 square feet. I don't know what it is. We'd have to have. We may approve it at less because that is not something that's there, and they have to come back and get it again if they get a donor.
Is that for an additional donor, or would we be able to approve it tonight at the one donor name?
Our goal as a zoning board is to make the smallest variance possible.
Yeah.
And so that's a generic statement. That's our goal, is like, we should be trying to do the smallest variance possible. And if you do not have a donor today and you don't have one in mind, maybe you do, but if you don't have one in mind that you can talk about, I don't see this happening in 3 weeks. And so my opinion is we should remove that as far as procedurally to do this correct. Am I wrong in my assessment of that? Eric?
I mean, you could, or you could approve it on the condition that a single donor's name be placed
what I
underneath
was
their
thinking.
logo.
That's
It's
fine.
up to the board. It's.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll do. I mean, that's up to you guys,
Yeah, I
but that's
think
what we should do.
Yeah.
So I would like to make that part of the note.
Okay.
And
Are
I
we-
don't, and unless there's something else you have, which I'd like to hear.
No, my next question is, I didn't go through all the sign square footages and do the math of how big they could make
I'm
it. but
trusting that it's right.
They said, you said it was 189 square feet. You said for that particular sign.
It's 289.
289. So I guess as a board, are we okay knowing that that sign could be that big?
Well, it is. Oh,
I think that the size of that building itself
Yeah.
would almost dictate
Oh, it'd have
that
to be
or larger.
I agree.
Right.
So limiting it to one donor name as a
And the size requested,
very reasonable.
Size presented.
presented, I'm sorry. I think it's reasonable. And again, the scale of this is important for the scope of what we're.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like just
a
under
complex.
400,000 square foot development.
Yeah, we don't have any, I'm not picking on any other facility that's been through here, but we don't have any chicken place that's 400,000 square feet. I'm bummed out about that, but we don't.
Right.
And a couple 100 feet off of Highland Drive as well.
Yeah, there's,
Right.
I mean, it's a whole complex.
Setback.
That's very important to our community. So I mean, I'm all about that. In my opinion, we should just
Yeah.
agree. I would
Okay.
only make the one caveat that right on there,
Right.
designated as one donor for now. So
Yeah.
maybe you need 2 donors down the road, you gotta come back and talk to us. But for one, I think that's a reasonable compromise today.
And I'm not against
And it's
it.
the applicant.
I'm asking for, but just to be sure they're getting what we want to give them, that's all. I'm not against it.
I don't even think they're there yet.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the total square footage that U of R is in a mall? Is it 480,000?
When they say it in
We're just over 400,000 square feet.
Okay.
Well over an acre of.
footprint.
And that includes the portion inside the mall is roughly 80,000, that's actually.
Okay.
Divided in all.
Oh, really? Huh.
I haven't even been in, so shame on me for not.
I
doing
haven't been into the facility, but I've seen it from the mall and obviously outside of it. So,
It's very impressive. It's very well
done.
done. It is. It's very, very well done. I had my.
It took a few years of somebody's time.
oh yeah.
So I think any questions from members of the audience?
Mike?
Go ahead, Mike.
Did you have one more thing?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I do have one more thing. I misspoke. So the pylon sign is not in the application.
No.
We have not started fabricating anything for that. We will come back
Yep,
and talk to you before we do anything with that large project.
perfect.
Okay, thank you.
That's the right order.
Just to clarify.
Great. With that, we can close this application. Aaron? Do your thing.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, with regard to application number ZBA 2024-98 to 130 for an area of variances, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has 1, duly advertised and held a public hearing, 2, has considered all relevant information, and 3, has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variances. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variances will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The existing signage is in character with the commercial character and other signage surrounding the neighborhood. The variances cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative due to the size or due to the use and size of the property and building to which the variances relate. There is not an alternative to accomplish the desired communication of the signage. The variances requested are substantial. While substantial, the size of the development and its use justify the need for the variances requested. The variances will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. The existing signage is not seen to create negative physical or environmental conditions at this time. The difficulty relating to the variances was self-created. While self-created, the difficulty is largely unavoidable due to the use of and size of the development. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variances as presented. And be it further resolved that the approval shall be subject to the following conditions. Sign A as shown in the application shall only include one donor name.
I'll second.
Seconded by Heather. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion's carry. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. And with that, we can close the meeting at 7:47. Thank you, guys.